seen Justin Herbert get paid. He's seen Joe Burrow get paid. He just saw Trevor Lawrence get paid. After leading the league in passing yards, it's time for Tua to get paid. Remember, like I told y'all, Trevor Lawrence set the market at $55 million a year, entering in one of the smartest football minds in all of television, at least as it pertains to the NFL, Dave Hellman. He hosts the NFL on Fox podcast. Dave, I want to start with you because not only do you know about Tua, but you know about the greater landscape of negotiations in all of the NFL. So when having this conversation, you're able to open the door, not just look through the keyhole, and provide so much more insight that people can find out on just Twitter. So answer me the question first. Does Tua have all the power in these negotiations that could change the dynamics of the NFL?
Any good quarterback has a lot of the power, has a lot of leverage. I like to say a quarterback is always going to get paid in the long run. Yep. And for the most part, I'm right. I can't say Tua has all of the power, simply because of the way these negotiations go. I'm sure there had to have been some angst in Miami when Trevor Lawrence signed this deal. Tua clearly, especially over the last couple of years, clearly a better resume, in my opinion anyway, than what Trevor Lawrence put on the field. And to see that number and know that because of the way this goes, Tua and his team are going to ask for just a little bit more probably, it creates an interesting dynamic. The reason I don't say all of the power is simply the Dolphins do have the choice to play this out if they want to. Tua still on his rookie deal. They can tag him. Franchise tag number sits at, I believe, $38 million right now. So you're talking about roughly a $17, $20 million difference in salary. If the Dolphins want to do that, they could tag him. I think it's also worth remembering who Mike McDaniel is, the head coach of the Dolphins, and where he comes from. San Francisco. 49ers have not been afraid to move on from a successful quarterback if they felt like they needed to. So Tua has a ton of power, and eventually he will get paid. I can't say he has all of the leverage, though.
The reason I think he has all of it is because when you look at Tua in comparison to Trevor, because Trevor's a benchmark. So truth be told, and Shady knows best as it comes to contract negotiations and making money, you go in and you say, who's the highest? And then can I clear him? And when Tua Tagovailoa, and I'll show y'all on a full screen so y'all can see the numbers, when Tua walks into negotiations and says, wait a second, Trevor Lawrence is 20 and 30, I'm 30 and 20. Trevor Lawrence has a 64% completion percentage, I got a 67. Trevor 58 to 39, I'm 81 to 37 touchdown interceptions, and passer rating, it's laughable. Trevor got 55. I want 60. Because you can also say track records. Trevor Lawrence was a number 1 overall pick. Tua Tagovailoa was going to be a number 1 overall pick if not for his injury. Trevor Lawrence won a national championship. Tua won a national championship. At college, they were similar. In the league, it's like, look, it's not like I've been a different dude and I just got good. Tua's been good, and he's continued to stay good. Dave, that's why I think he has all the power, because all you got to do is jump the person who just set the bar. Trev just set the bar, and Shady, that's an easy bar for Tua to jump.
Before I answer this question, I want to ask Dave here, because you're a smart guy from Dallas. You said something about right now you think Tua probably has a better resume than Trevor Lawrence. I just want to ask you, what type of resume you think Trevor Lawrence has?
Well, I mean, he has a $55 million resume. That's easy to answer because he signed the deal.
Well, we're talking about football. We're not talking about money. We're talking about football. You think he's, like, so far in his career, you think he's pretty good average?
I think he's above average. I would put Trevor on the fringe of the top 10, wherever you want to put him, somewhere between like 8 and 12.
Sounds like he's successful.
And I would say something similar about Tua.
Okay. Well, I don't think they're close. I think Tua's a lot better than Trevor Lawrence, right?
See, I definitely don't, for the record, but that's, hey.
We'll get there. We'll get there. Guys, stay on track, Shady. Stay on track, 2-5. Stay on track.
I don't know what the hell he's ever done to do all this.
Talk to him, Jay.
Anyway, I think Tua, at first, before Trevor got paid, I would have said I think that Tua should get paid. I don't know if he should get the top of the market. Like, I think he's a good quarterback, but before McDaniels and all these other weapons got there, they were trying to replace him. They was getting all type of requests, right? It was Tom Brady, it was Deshaun Watson, it was everybody. They wanted to be the quarterback for the Dolphins. But now that Trevor Lawrence, who's above average at best, got paid 55 a year?
55 a year.
Yeah. Yes, Tua should get the most money, right? Because now when you take out Joe Burrow, you're going to take out Patrick Mahomes, take all these guys out, take Lamar and all these other dudes, and now you're just looking at Trevor? If I'm his agent, oh, my God, listen, I'm not doing nothing until we get more money than Trevor Lawrence. And he's going to ask me, well, why is that, Mr. McCoy, the agent? Well, my guy's a lot better, does everything better in every way as a quarterback. Yeah. Simple as that. It won't be a long conversation. Yeah. I'll take my briefcase, right? I have my phone. Let me know what y'all want to do. You got my number, holla at me.
And that's why I say Tua has all the power.
All the power.
When I look at a player that I want to say has all the power. Number one, I look at the guy with the top money, right? Once I look at the guy with the top money, I say, is my stats similar to him or better than him? Because I'm asking for that top dollar. And then I look at who's behind him. So if it's a quarterback that's up for a contract and I'm like, ooh, but they got young buddy behind him. He good, he could play. And they drafted him here. Who behind him? Mike White? Skylar Thompson? These ain't no real, starting quarterbacks in the NFL that you want to plug in. So now I'm going to say, okay, I ain't going to pay Tua. I'm going to try to reach in the draft. But you drafted Tua in the first round. Tua has all the power, all the leverage in this situation. Nobody behind him, better than the guy that just got the most money per year, tied with Joe Burrow, in Trevor Lawrence. He has every bit of the power. There's no way the Dolphins get out of this without paying him all that money.
I always like to, even in business, right, with my real estate stuff, I always like to relate everything to football because I know that best.
Yes, sir.
So on my second deal, my second contract, right, I was up. I was all pro. I was all that, right? At the time, though, the big dog was Adrian Peterson. He Adrian Peterson, bro. He's better than I am, right? I don't say that much, but he was better than I was. And first rounder, et cetera. So at the deal, Drew Rosenhaus was my agent. Now, he's very, very aggressive. And the next guy was Arian Foster. Arian Foster. And he jumped off the porch early. He was like balling in on this and third, but I thought I was better than him. My numbers was a little bit better. It was right there. I said, yo, when we come up there, we want to be the top paid. Well, Shady McCoy, Adrian Peterson's the top paid. What? Okay, who number two? Foster. I'm getting him because I know I wasn't better than Adrian Peterson. Right? The stuff he's already done and the way he played, I knew that already, and I understood that. Drew Rosenhaus, he knew that. He tried for a little bit, but we understood that. But Foster, I gotta get him, and I jumped him. So if I'm Tua's agent and we just really talking numbers, we ain't even talking about this like play. Tua versus Trevor Lawrence. Stop playing with me, man. Give me my money and more.
All the leverage.
Do you think the Dolphins would ever consider tagging Tua? I don't know if they would because of the relationship McDaniel and Tua have.
That's my point, and that's why, look, for the record, before any Dolphins fans come for me, I think Tua is a hell of a quarterback. I'd pay him. I'm perfectly fine paying Tua. I just can't say he has, quote-unquote, all of the leverage when we know and teams have done this before. I come up here and talk about the Dak situation every day. You can tag a quarterback and force him to play it out. Like I said, $38 million on the tag versus 55 plus. I mean, that is a substantial
off the top of your head, though,
difference.
Cowboys have tagged their quarterback in Dak. The Washington team
did it with Kirk for a few years.
Who else? I don't know that
it doesn't happen very often, or typically when a quarterback gets tagged, it's just a negotiating ploy. All I'm saying is you can do it. And again, I know Mike McDaniel and Tua have a great relationship, but I still think it's useful context to think about where McDaniel came from. Jimmy Garoppolo was at one point the highest paid quarterback in the NFL. It's crazy to think about now.
He was.
They moved heaven and earth to draft Trey Lance. Then they moved on from that because Brock Purdy got his shot and excelled with it. Mike McDaniel has seen that there's more than one way to do this. Mike McDaniel also knows he has arguably the best receiver core in the NFL. All I'm saying is if the Dolphins aren't comfortable making Tua a $58 million quarterback, 56, whatever, if they're not comfortable, they have ways out of it. That's all I'm saying, which means Tua does not have all of the leverage.
Let me ask the receiver on the desk. Are you comfortable with Tua being the highest paid quarterback in football, given what the highest paid quarterbacks in football have accomplished? Knowing what wide receiver play is like, are you comfortable with that? Or are you like, yo, we can replace Tua? Like, if Tua leaves, like, we good. We'll find something.
It's one thing Tua's special at, and that's accuracy and throwing the ball. As a receiver, that's all you want is a quarterback that's accurate and going to get the ball out of his hand on time, because that makes my job easier. That's why everybody be beating me up all the time when I say, man, I would want to play with Joe Burrow over Lamar Jackson, or, whoever, a really good thrower over a really good runner, because I got to do my job. Tua is special at throwing this ball, and he's really, really accurate. So, no, give him his money, because I know if you give him his money, I'm a ball.
And the faster you do it, they already didn't beat Trevor. They could still beat Jordan Love. They could beat Jordan Love. They could beat Dak Prescott. Like, that's the thing about making a guy the highest paid. He won't be in a matter of weeks or months. It's always worth keeping in mind. Tua could beat Trevor tomorrow.
Should be Trevor.
And fine, I'm not arguing with you. So, he could, and by training camp, he'll be number 2 or number 3.
I got a question for you, Dave.
Yeah.
Because you're saying he don't have all the leverage because these tags and all that funny.
Technically true. That's
what
all
if
I'm
Tua
saying.
surprised everybody and said, I ain't coming for training camp the day they supposed to report for training camp? What the Dolphins doing?
The Dolphins are trusting that when the season.
Who got the leverage now?
No,
I'm
you're
just
asking
being-
me how many quarterbacks have ever been.